Welcome back, folks. We're here. Apparently, Mark didn't give me the okay, but I'm presuming we're recording another episode of Wisdom on Tap. You got a lovely t-shirt on. Common People.
Common People.
Good song. Pulp.
Yeah, great song.
I wanna live
Local
like
band.
common people.
Sheffield band.
Are they?
Mm.
I wanna do whatever common people do.
Great
I
song.
use that as a demo, really.
Yeah.
Put my demo out there. Was that good?
Yeah.
I think it was
alright,
a tune.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
bad. I've heard worse.
Well, that's always, when someone says I've had worse, I'm happy with that.
Take that.
Yeah, you will take that.
What are we talking about today?
Nothing, as usual.
All right.
I want to talk about your flipping unicorn.
Oh, God, yeah.
Your unicorn tears or piss, whatever it was from last
the
time.
investors pulled out.
No shit.
Yeah.
All over it.
Yeah.
Now, we said I wanted to talk to you about stress, which is one of the most Googled terms.
Really?
Yeah, the most Googled terms, by the way, are things like Facebook, YouTube.
Really?
It's because literally people are typing it in to find the link, aren't they?
Right.
So you
that's
can't-
not a real answer, is it?
It's not a real answer.
So, but you're saying one of the most Googled terms to do with
How to stay calm,
self-help.
how to handle stress, yeah.
Do you like that term, self-help?
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
Well, okay, here's a better question.
What?
Don't you?
I don't mind it, but I'm not in that niche. But I've heard people saying that they don't like that particular phrase. There could be a better phrase for it.
What would be a
That's all.
better phrase
I
for it,
don't know.
do you think? Well, I noticed you said,
Just because that's your niche. And also, you're not doing it yourself. You're getting people to help you with it. That's what you do.
Yeah, I suppose it can sound a little bit, people have got maybe negative connotations with self-help. It's like, oh, you're a bit messed up, are you?
Yeah.
You need to do some self-help.
Growth would be a better term. Growth. Self-growth or just growth.
Yeah, I've stopped trying to figure it out. People say, what's your title? You're like, oh, God, whatever.
Mister.
Yeah, doctor, sir, master Simon.
Master Simon.
Gone are the days where I used to get a letter through the post, Master Simon Gwilliam, when you were a kid. Remember them when you were a kid?
Yeah,
Master. My mum always used to open it, my mail. She got it, just in case it was hate mail. I don't know what she thought. I don't know what kind of kid I was.
As a kid?
I don't
What type
know.
of
My
kid
mum's
were
like
you?
this. She probably saw something in the news where kids would get, like, people would send kids weird mail. So
Like
she would,
letters cut out of comics.
like in The Bodyguard.
Yeah.
I don't know why actually. Like, why would I be getting hate mail? Maybe there's something I don't know about my childhood. Was I a sensation and it's just been kept from me?
I don't think
Was
so.
I a global
don't
sensation when I was getting
remember.
hate mail?
Maybe you were a child pop star or something.
Could have been.
I don't know.
I doubt I'd have been a pop star. But yeah, stress we're going to talk about. Funny enough, I've just come back off holiday.
So you're not stressed, or are you?
Hey, I had a holiday because I was like, we booked last minute, as you well know, much to Mark's dismay, because we're behind on episodes for the show.
Yeah. It's all right.
Like, where are you now? I'm on holiday. I thought, oh, yeah, you could see it in him. Now is not the time for holidays. but one thing...
Did you go anywhere nice?
Shithole.
Really?
No, I'm joking. I went to Portugal.
Oh, nice.
It was nice, actually. Went for a week. But if you want to talk about stress, airports, you see a lot of stressed people at airports.
Especially if you got kids. Yeah.
Yeah, but people in general are just stressed at airports, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've also had enough of travel.
Enough of travel.
Travel. I need to put this out there.
Good problem to have.
Every time we come, we go, how was the journey? I'm like, what are they doing? From Birmingham to Doncaster, they've dug every element of the road up. And then they've got this nice sign which is like, we are making your journey smoother for the future. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but you're really pissing me off doing 40 all the way in one lane.
There's a lot of that everywhere now.
Yeah. But anyway, at the airport, you see a lot of stressed people.
Yeah.
Like shouting at kids and shouting at people. Just shouting at randomers. And I think some of it maybe is because well, they are quite busy places, aren't they? And a lot of people don't like flying.
Yeah.
But
they're busy, full of people. You want to get to where you're either really can't wait to get to your destination because you're going on holiday, so you just want to get there.
Yeah.
Or you've got to go home and you don't really want to go home, so you're pissed off.
I always look forward to coming home.
You do?
Yep. Not that I didn't like my holiday.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I like coming home. I like seeing them hills. I drive into like Worcester, you can start seeing the Malvern Hills. I start getting towards Malvern, like there's them hills.
Right.
My little boy said, Daddy, we must be home. There's the Malvern Hills. Like, yeah, he knows that crap.
That's nice.
But you touch upon kids, I think it's just a different holiday. I said I'm going away. Oh, what with your kids? Oh, mate, I don't envy you. Because, young kids, a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And you've got to have the 1-year-old on your lap.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can book an extra seat. When
No,
you said,
they
can
give you
we...
a special yellow seat belt for them.
I mean, yeah, that seat belt, what a...
Yeah, it's going to really, let's not think about that.
No, but also, like, as if I'm going to have it on me all the time.
Yeah.
What, do you think my little 1-year-old sat there going, yes, I must stay in the seat belt, like climbing on my head, climbing on my arm. But it's awkward, obviously. If you talk about stress then, I think, I don't know if anyone's been there, maybe you have, but you got them sat on your lap and of course you're taking off and they're like, I don't want to be sat on your lap.
Yeah.
But you got to make them sit on your lap. So there's crying.
Yeah, so I'm just going to
You're crying.
cry for the whole flight and just really piss off
Phallus.
200 strangers.
Well, that's what you're worried about. You're worried that you're going to piss everyone off, aren't you?
Yeah, personally, being a dad now, when that happens, it doesn't stress me out. I actually feel sorry for the parent. I really feel for them, as you probably do.
Yeah.
And probably prior to being a dad, I probably wasn't as understanding, but it's never really, really wound me up. I get more pissed off by adults who are just inconsiderate because they should know better. But I know what you mean. There's nothing worse than a kid screaming on a flight.
I mean, this is the thing, innit? But people around you are like trying to help you a little bit. They're like, trying to like sort of get her attention because they're like they're feeling for you. They're like, poor fuckers, you can see. One bloke did behind me before we took off. He said, "Is there space down the front?" She went, "Yeah." He went, "Oh, brilliant. Can I upgrade?" And I was like, "Is he upgrading?" Because he's just seen me get on with a baby. I don't blame him. He probably wanted more room. But most people have got their earphones in now anyway.
Yeah.
That's actually the whole of the world. You walk through a high street, people have got their earphones in.
Yeah.
Sat in a bar, people have got their earphones in on their own. So it is like you do worry what other people are thinking. But then I sort of thought, you know what? It is what it is. Dogs bark, babies cry. The only time it becomes stressful is when you think it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
And it is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my whole lesson from the whole holiday.
Just that.
Just, it is what it is. Like, I was joking around. I saw a meme. We've been talking about memes a lot off camera, but I saw a meme which was like, not a meme, it was just a quote. And it was like that amazing period after when you go up to your room after lying by the pool all day and it's been boiling. It was like this girl writing it. And you lie down, you have a little shower and a little nap before you know you're going to go out and have a bit of good food.
Yeah.
That is my favorite period in life. And you're like, yeah, that don't exist anymore, does it?
That's gone.
I got a 1-year-old I'm trying to feed and a 4-year-old go crazy because I want to do something. You're like, mate, where's my period of just lying down that I was hoping for this holiday? It doesn't happen. No, it ain't happening. But the only time these things are stressful, I think, is when you try and fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't the kind of holiday it is. And actually, by embracing it, it's fucking great.
Yeah, I think if you know it's coming as well, like the next time you go on holiday, there's a very good chance all that shit's going to happen again. So you know it's coming. So you're like, whatever.
It's like sitting in traffic.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
So there's no point sitting there getting all stressed.
Nah.
And when you do sit there and think, oh my God, I've sat in a lot of traffic lately. Yeah, you go,
Pointless.
It just stresses you out. Whereas when you just go, I'll put some music on, or it is what it is.
Yeah.
It takes that stress off. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. It takes time though, I think, to get to that point. You have to go through a lot of stress before you go, you know what, I'm fucking sick of feeling like this. I'm just going to change my viewpoint on it because there's nothing I can do. And I don't know whether that comes through experience or maybe reading about it or working with someone like yourself on stress. But I know a couple of people that I can think of right now that are still very stressed and will probably always be like that. And I feel for them. I just think there's no way to live
What's
your
been
life.
the most stressful period of your life?
For me?
Yeah.
Probably COVID.
Why?
Because I lost all my work overnight, so I had no income. I've got 3 kids, and my partner is a full-time carer, so she can't work. So I'm the only breadwinner. So all of a sudden you go from, right, we're doing all right to we're fucked. So that was stressful.
Is that your scale?
Yeah.
We're doing all right?
Oh, we're fucked.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
Like a sliding scale.
That's it.
Yeah.
We went from doing all right to fucked very quickly. Literally, when Boris made his announcement, that was it. The diary just went, just emptied, obviously.
Funny, because that moment of your life, which was awful, was actually, when he made that announcement, I was just about to have one of the best moments of my life.
It did end up being good. Like,
well, I mean, I was in hospital.
Period.
My little boy was born that day.
Right. God, brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway, not
That's
to piss on your chips, but carry on.
No. So, I mean, you asked me what the most stressful time was. It was definitely that, but it wasn't all the way through COVID. It was actually a precursor or a catalyst for me becoming less stressed. So, so we lost all my work. At the time, on that particular day or those few days afterwards, I wasn't that stressed because no one really knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I think we all thought, we'll have 6 weeks locked up. Everyone's on the G&Ts in the garden because the summer was nice. And it'll be fine. I think it's probably a few weeks in or after those first 6 weeks when whatever happened, I can't even remember what happened next. And then there was a whole thing of, catching it. And so there was the lack of income. There was the fact that...
What was the biggest driver?
Of the stress?
Yeah.
I think... It's not nice to say this, but it was basically being cooped up in my house with the kids and not being and not having, because you just said how stressful it is to have kids around on holiday, right?
Yeah.
Well, so if you're stuck at home with them, that's stressful. Then you're trying to educate them. Our oldest is disabled; she's got special needs, and at that time she was having lots of seizures because she's epileptic,
right? And
she had quite a few during COVID, and that was awful. Like, I think the first week of COVID, we went, me and Emily, her name is, we went for a walk and it's quite hot. And I don't know if it was the heat that did it or she had to carry these bags because we went to go to the shops. And as soon as she got in, she put the bags down and she just had a seizure and she face planted the work surface and her face just exploded, blood everywhere. I thought she was dead.
Wow.
And she hit the floor having a seizure. And my daughter was probably 3 at the time. She saw the whole thing. So she's freaking out. I'm freaking out. Lisa's freaking out. So
what happened?
She was fine in the end, but
what happened? How did you get her sorted?
The ambulance came. So this is we're about 5 days into lockdown. Ambulance come. It's like a scene from ET. They're all in a hazmat suits. With the masks on and everything. And we open the door and they're like, "We have to tell you before we come in, we've just had a COVID patient in the ambulance." So at that time, no one really knew what COVID was or how serious it was.
Do people know now?
Well, I think we've got a better idea. Yeah. But also my friend, a good friend of mine, his dad died of COVID a couple of days before that. He's one of the first people that I know that passed away from it. So, and because of Emily's disability, if her temperature is either really high or really low, she's at risk of a seizure. So obviously you get COVID, you get a temperature, she's going to have a seizure, right? So there was all this going on. So these ambulance people came. It's like they're all hazmated up. It's like a scene from, like, say, the bit of ET when they put all the house in the, in the dome and everything. So Lisa had to go with Emily to hospital, and I had to look after these other 2 young kids, and didn't really know what was going on at the time. All the hospitals were like, you couldn't go unless you absolutely had to. It was just shit, basically.
We must look back on that. I look back on that period and be like, what the hell was going on?
Well, about 3 o'clock in the morning, Lisa came out, right, and I made her get undressed.
Oh yeah.
Outside, outside.
Where's this going? It's getting dark.
Yeah, because we were so worried about bringing COVID into the house, right? So, I made it, and then I think she hosed herself down outside with the hose in the garden, then came in and had a shower, and then changed her clothes, and we chucked her clothes either in the bin or washed them or whatever. Emily's left in hospital. She had a fractured skull.
Like she murdered someone. And then we poured
everywhere.
petrol on it.
In blood. Yeah. So that's how COVID started for us.
God.
And then it was homeschooling and dealing with all the other stuff of, like, I couldn't see my mum and dad. They were getting upset and, all kinds of stuff. The girls, the 2 eldest are stepkids of mine, and they see their dad regularly. They couldn't see him. So he had to come and stand and look over the fence into our garden to talk to them. That's how we would see them.
Fair play.
Do you know what I mean?
I think when you look at that period of life, everyone was
definitely
a lot of stress around. But you talking about stress then, look at all the stresses that are present.
Yeah.
Lack of community has been shown to be a huge chronic stressor for an individual.
Yeah.
Look
Since
at the lack
COVID, you mean?
No, in general.
Right.
So if you're looking at like what is a trigger for burnout, for example, lack of community has been shown to be a trigger for people.
Okay.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Isolation, loneliness, no support, lack of community. But also, unfair treatment, stuff like that. One of the big ones you talked about there is stress is perspective.
Yeah.
As in what you find stressful, I might not. Right?
Oh, totally.
So stress is a lens, right?
Stress is it's a decision. Like you can choose to be stressed.
Well, it's a perspective, but here's where it comes in. What's filtering our perspective? So what do you think is filtering people's perspective?
Through stress?
No, for anything in life.
It's expectations.
And also past experience.
Right.
So your COVID kicked off with that.
Yeah.
Now that is traumatic.
Yeah.
Trauma isn't like, we like to think of trauma as like,
car crash.
Yeah. Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But trauma's, they reckon if you look at someone's brain, so to speak, not brain necessarily, but 300 to 500 elements of micro trauma in your kicking around your limbic system.
Really?
Yeah. And they are filtering your experience, right?
All right.
So that's just, we're joking around, but my first day of lockdown, I was like, I've got a little boy.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Your first day of lockdown, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What is going on? Very traumatic.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder that we found the periods of lockdown very different from a stress perspective, is it?
Yeah.
Because you had this like fear-based perspective.
Yeah.
You had a lens which is always looking out for like you've had different things in your life.
Yeah.
So and this is what I mean, we could look at this many ways, but a lot of stress is perspective-based. That's coming from past experience. If you don't deal with those past experiences, clear them out, you're always looking through life through this lens of stress, this reactiveness, this what could go wrong, fear-based. And that's why it was different for all sorts of people. It's all right for me to say, oh, God, well, you know what people worried about? I had a great time. Bloody hell, all that time. But I had an online business already.
Yeah.
I
used to get annoyed.
I lived in the middle of nowhere, so no one was really bothering me. I was just opening the door. My dog would run off and me, hey, let's go across the hills, mate. I don't care. There's no one around.
Yeah, it was like a sliding scale. Some people really benefited from COVID, both financially and in terms of time spent with family.
Well, let's not open that rabbit. But there's a lot of people who benefited from COVID
and then
financially.
some people lost their lives, like the dichotomy of that.
It's all right saying, what's nothing to worry about with COVID. It's all right saying that, but if your dad has just died of it, and you've got somebody who's quite vulnerable, you're going to be scared to death of it.
Yeah, we were.
But I wasn't, because I was like, I don't know anyone who's died from COVID, quite frankly. And I'm actually doing all right. And I wasn't like, well, I'm doing all right, sod everyone out. Actually, I was like, hey, I understand enough about human psychology and how the brain works to say we can't all see things the same way.
Yeah.
Because look at all those past experiences. That's one of the greatest things you can do to handle stress. Matt Gallant from BioOptimizers came on to deliver a workshop for our High Performance Mind group. And he was like, you know what the best thing you can do? Clear out all those traumas out your limbic system.
So how'd you do that?
Loads of different ways. And I knew that because I'd worked hard on it. We talked in a previous episode about possibly Mark seeing a difference in me in 5 years.
Yeah.
And becoming calmer, possibly. I don't know. Much more together. He's nodding. I don't know what he saw, but it's come from a lot of that. It's not come from drinking more water and moving. Yeah, that's good. But actually it's come from, I'm going to process a lot of these things. Not talk about them, because they're kind of stored energetically.
Okay.
So how do I clear them out? So people use a lot of neurofeedback. They use a lot of like tapping. You've got to almost bring it up.
Right.
And feel it out your system.
Let me just ask you this. What's your limbic system?
I couldn't explain that well enough.
But
the way I would term it simply is, we call it brain junk.
Right.
Is the simplest way to term it.
Okay.
In the sense
so it's
that
the stuff that gets cleared out while you're sleeping?
No, not necessarily. You got a lot. Past experiences are stored. Let's look at it from a mind point of view. This is how I choose to. I'm going to simplify this, bastardize it for the sake of a podcast.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be going, "Where's my drawing? I'm going to have to get a board out here." But if we were saying like...
But is it a physical thing or a mental thing?
Oh, God, that's a hard question to answer. It's both. If you read a book like The Body Keeps the Score,
yeah,
we're storing all these things. Great book to read. But when we teach it real simply, we look at things like past experience could be stored in your subconscious, say, for example, as a memory, right? We've all got these memories logged away.
Yeah.
And when people say I was triggered by something, it's almost like there's this stored memory under the surface. Something in my external world kind of triggers that, and it rises up reflexively to the surface, and you have some kind of emotional reaction. Yeah. Say I've had a past experience where somebody betrayed my trust massively. Never really dealt with it, left it there. Say somebody in my current world displays maybe a similar slight of it. They're not betraying my trust, but a slight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom. The reaction kicks off, etc., etc.
Okay.
So we look at it like stored little memories. We call that brain junk. It's not really useful. It's like, how can I clear those things out? How can I bring them to the surface? How can I almost feel them out of my system? Not just create mental meanings around them. Because we've all made, let's use that example, somebody's wronged us. We've all kind of made, even if you're friends with them and they've really annoyed you, we can make mental sense of it, but it might never feel the same again between us. Why is that? It's like, well, because it's still there. So trying to bring it up and almost what we might call feel it out your system. And I'm skirting around the subject here. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd have ever flipping.
I get that. It's far more involved than what you're saying.
Yeah, I'd have ever flipping whole lesson on it for 45 minutes to an hour. But it's like, how can I clear that stuff out? So a lot of our stress is driven by those past experiences. It's filtering how we look at things. And I think ultimately our brain is right now using past experience right now. It's weighing up what's coming in. It's comparing it to all the previous experiences we've had that are similar. Everywhere we go, it's using all that. So it's a lot of our past experience is actually creating what we see. And that's why it's so important to clear that out. But again, you can't just keep talking about it because that often doesn't remove the energy around it. Imagine it like charged up. It's like you want to remove some of the energy around it. It's not forgetting it, is it? It's just not letting it impact your current reality too much. So when you say stress is perspective based, if I have a lot of past experiences from minor to major around a certain topic, I'm going to look at that topic very differently to somebody who has completely different experiences. You can even look at this simplistically. Money. If you grew up in a family where money was never an issue, it was never talked about, but it was never an issue. You'll have a very different relationship to somebody who's grew up in a household where money is a big problem. That's not saying it's going to be bad, but you can have a very different relationship around money, aren't you? Same with religion, same with anything. So past experience is what drives a lot of our perspective, and our perspective drives a lot of our stress. So a lot of people rolling into us would say, hey, I'm probably quite stressed a lot of the time.
How do people know when they're stressed? Because sometimes I think I might be a bit stressed, and then I think, no, I don't think I am. I have moments where I'm a bit het up, and then it goes.
Yeah, I suppose, I won't want to take too much from Matt Gallant's webinar he did for us, but he had an interesting take on this. So just remove that word stress, just call it weight.
Okay.
And stress is neither good or bad. It's just a weight, and you can handle so much weight, can't you?
But also, my understanding of it is some stress is good for you. Like the reason we have stress is a biological function of survival. But now we're super stressed because there's no tigers wandering around threatening to eat us and stuff like that. So now we're getting stressed. Our brain's looking for things to be stressed about. Is that
more fear? That's fear.
I was going to say a little bit. I was going to say maybe possibly more fear-based. I think, if you look at a simplistic way to look at fear, like rational, irrational. Yeah. Rational is very much like, I don't know, if somebody broke in here right now and we are in Doncaster after all.
Yeah.
I might be rationally afraid, mightn't I? A huge amount of fear might kick up. Like, who's this person breaking in here? What are we going to do about it? We'd have to do something. Irrational is like, what we spoke about in previous episodes. Like, what if people don't like me? It's not like rational keeps you alive, basically. God, this is life or death.
Yeah.
Irrational.
Fight
stops
or
you
flight.
from living.
Yeah.
That's the best way to look at it.
Right.
It's like, what ifs, I'm not good enough, what if they say no? It's like, it's not life or death. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
But it still feels like that, doesn't it? You ever gone to ask somebody out?
Oof.
Feels like life or death, doesn't it? But it's not, is it? Nobody ever died from going, hey, no.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably talking a little bit about fear, but of course stress is good for you. And they did a huge study on stress, not to bang on too much about this, but I can't remember what it was
I
exactly.
think acute stress is good for you.
Chronic stress is debilitating you.
Yeah.
But again, your view of stress itself contributes to how it impacts you. I can't remember the exact study. Somebody's probably sat there going, this isn't the exact study, but this is the point. They took a load of people, big study, and asked them 2 questions like, how stressed are you? Again, that's open to interpretation. Yeah. Is stress good or bad? And so the people that were the healthiest, obviously, they tracked them, were the people who weren't stressed.
Yeah.
But the people who actually came out quite low on there were the people who weren't stressed, but viewed stress as
a good thing.
A negative thing.
Okay.
So if you viewed stress as a negative thing, like it's not good, it's bad, your stress had a much bigger impact on you.
Yeah.
So that's where they're like, the way we view the stresses in our lives can actually lead to how it impacts us.
Right.
So again, more perspective.
Yeah.
So if you're like, God, I'm stressed and stress is terrible, you're going to perform worse health-wise.
Yeah. Well,
than somebody who's like, I'm really stressed, but hey, I got to get through this. It's part of life.
It's just my brain. Yeah, I've got to work on it.
Yeah, this is a problem. I'm going to have to deal with it. Like that more growth mindset. So you got things like, can I clear out past experiences? That makes an impact on why people are stressed. How do I actually think about stress? How do I talk about stress? I think Byron Katie, as much as I'm not a fan of the work, as she calls it, like as a daily brain training thing, every day taking your thoughts and running them through questions, which a lot of people use it like, I am a fan of like, if you argue with reality, it's stressful. Isn't it?
Like when you're stuck in traffic and there's nothing you can do.
When you're on holiday and your kid's crying, that can be really stressful. Or you can go, well, kids cry, don't they?
Yeah.
Kids cry. What am I going to do about it? I can try and stop her crying, but I can't stop her crying. Like she's crying. Like, getting stressed at your dog for barking. It's like, fucking dogs bark, mate.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't be. That's what it does.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, arguing with what's in front of us it creates that rub, I think, doesn't it? That's not to be confused with like, well, I could change this. I think you've still got to accept something before you can change it.
Yeah. Well, you need to know there's a problem before you can fix a problem.
And you need to admit it.
Yeah.
The best example of that is if somebody can't admit they've got a problem, it's never going to change, is it?
Yeah.
So if you accept what's in front of you, you can start to change it. You can start to work with it, around it, can't you? But I think the world is, do you think maybe the world is a little bit more stressful? Do you think people are a little bit more stressed?
Yeah, they definitely are. I think modern life is the reason.
In what way?
Well, social media. So I'm actually, funnily enough, I'm reading a book at the moment called Unstressable. I'm only about a quarter of the way into it, I think, but it's really interesting. But like, for my stress usually is when I feel like I've got to get back to this. I've had an inquiry and I've got to get back to them. If not, I'm going to be unprofessional or I'm going to lose the gig, or you know what I mean. So that's a technology thing, right? But I've allowed myself to become like that by even checking my emails. If I didn't check my emails, it wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be stressed, right? So I think technology, while it can help us, has also caused a lot of problems. And this feeds back to that thing I said about how biologically our brains are triggered to look for negative things. It's a survival thing. And you are, whilst, for most people, finding food and eating is not a problem, whereas as a caveman it probably was. Now we're going, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to be stressed about that, when really that's not stressful. Like, it's not.
Also, it's what's driving your stress is, if I don't get back to this, I'm unprofessional.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose this gig.
Yeah. I'm not saying that in itself stresses me, but if I have several of them a day,
lucky you.
I feel like that's what
you know, all these people want to work with me. 3 or 4 people a day I've got to get back to. Can we pay you to come play at our wedding?
What they call micro stresses, and that's what chronic stress is. You have a few of these, and then you're stuck in traffic. You're late for something.
It's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that.
And that is what's stressing most people out.
And that's what's
don't get me wrong. There's
problem at the moment.
Boom, life's you. That's stressful.
Yeah.
Hey, you spoke about it at the start of lockdown. Boom, that's stressful. Quite acute stress.
Yeah, but I think something like 90% of people that have a massive trauma like that get through it.
Chronic stress is debilitating. That's what actually leads to burnout. Chronic stress. Burnout's talked about a lot now, and I talk about it a huge amount. I talk about it for years. But chronic stress is debilitating. It's that death by 1,000 paper cuts. And that's when, like you said, that's when the mum or dad or whatever loses their shit with their kid in the airport. It's literally, it's not that. It's all of the stress of the parking, of the getting everyone ready, of getting there, of the flight, of the things, of the work they've left behind. And all of a sudden their kid's not, towing the line at 8 and they're losing their shit with them.
Yeah.
And I don't judge that because, fucking hell, it's hard work.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And you touched upon it. When you have a kid, you go, oh yeah. Yeah, they don't always do what you want them to do they? Oh. Even the good ones, so to speak, the well-behaved ones. Yeah. But it's that if people just flip out. It's that like the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah. But you can see it in traffic now, driving even. I don't know if it's me, but more people seem to be aggro in their car. Yeah. Maybe I'm just getting a worse driver.
Road rage, it's an issue, isn't it?
What are you so stressed about? But again, a lot of stress is the way we view the things in our life. In a sense of, if you look after yourself physically, mentally and emotionally, you have more capacity to deal with things. It's like if the demands in my life are 4 litres of water, every day I've got 4 litres of demands, but I have this cup and I start pouring it in, got a lot of shit to do. I'm going to get to there and it's all going to start overflowing. Yeah. I just can't cope with the demand. Yeah. And that is overwhelm, you could say, but that is also stress for most of us. When we increase our capacity to handle things, we all of a sudden don't get so upset by that person who just pulled out in front of us when we didn't want to. Nothing
your
crazy.
Ability to deal with the little things.
You've got a bigger window.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, you imagine that's your window and your stress is running through there, and something triggers you, it doesn't break out, does it? But if your stress window is that big, it's like, it just takes that one little thing, doesn't it? It takes that person on social media. When you think about it, how weird is it that we get upset by what somebody writes on social media? That's really weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about people being overly abusive, but we get,
like little things that just niggle you. Yeah.
Yeah, like, why is that causing me to ruin my morning?
Yeah.
You're smiling, but why is that?
It's stupid, but we all do it. We're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of people come to you for stress then at the moment?
I'd say everyone who comes in to any line of work we do we're going to get to grips on capacity straight away.
Okay.
Because that is one of the fastest ways to improve how you think and how you feel.
So how do you increase your capacity to endure stress?
Well, we don't look at it as enduring stress, but you say, well, physically, how do you top up? Imagine that's a bank account. How do you invest in your physical health? Most people need to move. Move more.
If I said to you, what are the 3 best things to do?
To increase your capacity?
Yeah.
I'd probably pick a physical, mental and emotional thing.
Like what? Working out?
Oh God, it's so hard because you'd say, well, the food you'd pop in your system, hydration. But I would say, if they say that sitting is the new smoking, I'd say most people need to move. Fitness industry likes to cane the 10,000 steps, don't they? 10,000 steps is not the be all and end all, 10,000 steps.
No, it's a start, isn't it?
But I'm not thinking from a physical point. I'm thinking for your brain health.
Yeah.
Movement is good for your brain. People sit too long. Look at us sat in these postures, hunched over right now. A lot of physical fatigue has come from being in the same posture all the time.
Yeah.
So movement, get outside. It kills loads of birds with loads of stones.
Yeah.
Get in the fresh
No,
air.
don't throw stones at birds when you go outside for a walk. Simon.
Nah. Don't do that. But, outside, fresh air, sunlight. It's flipping hell.
Yeah.
A Huberman, get sunlight in your eyes, all that kind of stuff. Movement. Mentally. I'm a big thinker, see, on this.
Do you meditate?
10 years. 10 years deep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's another podcast episode that I need you to talk to me about.
But yes and no, I might go journal.
Okay.
I'm linking bang for buck. Journal possibly.
So what about the emotional stuff then? How do you improve your emotional capacity?
Either get around people.
So it's not necessarily talking about your problems or working on your emotional intelligence and all
No,
that stuff.
I'd look at it like, if I'm looking at upping capacity, I'd say, do stuff you enjoy, but then people tend to go, yeah, I enjoy walking outside on my own. It's like, well, I get that. I enjoy music, but it's insular, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely, one of the big things that I noticed in myself in the last couple of years is, because I spent a lot of time on my own, traveling to gigs and back from gigs, is that there's been some days, when you're just in a bit of a funk, you just have, I don't know, something's up. You got out of the bed the wrong side and you're just having a shit day and you're not very happy. And then I'd get to somewhere, I might even just go for coffee or start talking to a stranger. I might be visiting my dad.
Yeah.
And you think, I feel better now. Where did that come from? And it's just, well, you just spoke to someone. That's all you did.
Yeah, not about your issues.
No. You just
got out with, just hang out with people.
But I was like, but I think, is that because I got distracted from my problem, or is it because there's something chemically going off in my brain?
Again, if you're looking at capacity, though,
yeah,
I think if you up your capacity, then you deal with your stressors.
Right. So they're still there.
If I'm training people, it doesn't matter how much you go and jump in the sea every morning and freeze your bollocks off.
Yeah.
If you've got a shit relationship that you're faced with every day, it's not necessarily going to go away, is it?
Change that now.
You might have to then go and deal with that.
Yeah.
But it gives you the capacity to deal with the stressor.
Got you.
So you want to build up capacity. I would look at working through your problems like as dealing with a stressor, probably. A bit different to what I would call capacity work.
Yeah.
But emotional, I think, get around people. The book Aging Well says, hey, the secret to aging well, there's loads of things, but one of them is the quality of your relationships.
Yeah.
They're not about living like a long time.
No.
They're saying, how do you age well? How do you have a good quality of life? Quality relationships. You look at Netflix, the secrets of the bloody blue zones, is it, or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, they all do it. Relationships, community.
Purpose.
Personal development gets so insular. You get so wrapped up in your own bullshit. And it's necessary to an extent. But if you don't even that out with, I just went and had a pint.
Yeah.
No, I realise people go, well, fucking how you talking about drinking, whatever. But if you don't go for a coffee, if you don't go for a chat with somebody, I think that's dangerous. I think isolation and isolating yourself is dangerous. I think finding your people is cool. So if you said, what would you do daily emotionally?
Yeah.
I'd say to somebody, listen to yourself, what gives you energy, but try and be around people. Be around the people that give you energy.
Yeah.
And I think you can top it up nicely, physically, mentally, emotionally. Expand your window. Then go and deal with some of the things that are stressing you out. Deal with some of those past experiences. And then maybe look at how you view your life. Stop trying to wrestle against everything. Try and roll with the punches. If you look at that as a trifecta.
It's a big word.
Of dealing with stress, there's many other things. I think you're going to be somewhere near.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I went on a bit of a tangent there.
No, it's good.
Mark's like, how long we been, Mark? 39 minutes.
Should we stop? Because I'm getting stressed now listening to
Are you getting quite stressed?
Yeah.
Is that because your unicorn piss idea ain't working out?
Yeah. That's it.
You got sold down that, didn't you?
Yeah. God.
That private
It's
jet.
a pyramid scheme.
That private jet you came over on wasn't yours, was it?
No. It was on the Never Never.
In fact, it was EasyJet, wasn't it?
Don't talk to me about EasyJet. I hate EasyJet.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
They're really funny about taking instruments on.
Past experience.
Yeah, there you go. Stresses me out.
Just thinking about them. How was your capacity that day?
Not great.
I'll tell you what stressed me out just quickly.
Yeah.
It wasn't stressing me out, but it was irritating me. I was sat in a bar last night in my hotel and somebody was playing their phone really loud.
Oh, yeah.
Really loud.
That happened to us the other day, didn't it, in the coffee shop?
And it was quite a loud bar.
I was going to go ballistic.
It was quite a loud bar, but I was like, that's really loud. And you just don't quite
inconsiderate that.
Very inconsiderate. I tell you what I did have, though. I had a pint of Stella Artois unfiltered.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the bar and I was like, what you got, mate? Got any ales? He said, oh, we're not really an ale kind
hotels
of bar.
have rubbish beer selection, generally.
But this is a good hotel. And they've got the Sky Lounge bar in the Resorts World in Birmingham. It was all right. And he was like, no, we haven't really got the odd bottle here, mate. I was like, oh. So it was lagers.
Yeah.
One of them bars, you know, everyone has cocktails and all that. So he said the Stella's nice. I was thinking, oh, here we go. I'll be fucking scrapping by the end of the half hour.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, with that person over their phone. Good job. But he was like, no, it's the unfiltered one. It's a bit stronger, but it tastes really nice.
Yeah.
The green one. It's got a green label.
Don't know. Yeah,
I think it has,
it gave me it in this Stella glass, which didn't feel like glass. It felt matte.
Right.
And that and the Stella, I could have had.
The experience of the...
I think what you drink it in makes a difference. A bit
It
like
does.
tea. You know, when someone gives me a black mug with my tea, I'm like, you better fucking get rid of that. I can't be dealing with tea out of a black mug. You got none over there with grey. Grey's fashionable now.
But that's mental, though, isn't it? That is a mental thing.
I don't know.
is it?
There's an expert out there could probably tell us how
Well,
that
I do
contributes
know
to
that
taste.
champagne, the reason that champagne flutes are the way that they are, is that if you drink champagne in a different type of shaped glass, it tastes different.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
Is that what's that beer? Leffy.
Yeah, that's
Leffe,
expensive.
yeah.
They have a special glass, don't they?
Yeah.
It looks like the what's the coffee alcohol thing? What's that? You know what I mean? Like a cocktail.
Espresso martini.
Martini glass, yeah.
It looks like a deeper version.
Yeah.
But it was nice. This to the point where I'm like, I could drink that. I could drink that.
You did drink it, hopefully, didn't you?
No, what I mean is that could be a drink. If I ever go to a bar and I'm like, what you got there, mate? You got any ales? And they're like, ales? Where you from? I'd be like, oh, got any of that unfiltered Stella?
Yeah, there you go.
Put me white vest on.
Your flat cap.
Flat cap. You know what I mean? No, I think he's on more than the Stella. No accusations. That shut us down. Right, folks. After that little story, we're out of here, don't we?
You what, sorry?
After that little story, we're out of here. You're not listening to me or what?
What?
Eh? You're thinking about your unicorn piss again. Give it a
Thinking
rest.
about having a Stella, to be honest.
Well, maybe we should get some Stella Unfiltered. There's a bloke outside, I think.
Can we get
with some.
sponsorship from
By
them?
Stella Unfiltered.
Yeah.
Where's Stella
That'd
from?
be a good name for a podcast, Unfiltered.
Yeah. Everyone uses that, though, don't they? Everyone who thinks they're unfiltered. Yours isn't called Unfiltered, is it?
No.
What's it called?
The Sack Shed.
Very good. I like it.
It's just...
Anyway, folks, we're going to tune out of here now because we're just rattling on about alcohol. Everyone's... there's two types of people right now. One's going, why are they talking about alcohol? And the other's going, I fancy a Stella, actually.
Yeah. Other beers are available, obviously.
Not at that bar.
Don't go
That
to
or
that bar,
Camden. No good.
Oh, you don't like that?
There's a lager now. Can't be doing it. Anyway, I'm out of here.
Yeah, we're going off on a tangent now.
Yeah, we are. Bye-bye.